Welcome to HSR Motorsport. Hello and welcome indeed to HSR Motorsport for our Le Mans Ultimate Multiclass Season 2 Championship. And today you join us for round 5 here at Circuit Autodromo Jose Carlos Base, or as it is well known in the F1 world, Sao Paulo / Interlagos. It is much better to, or much easier to remember it that way. Circuit originally created back in 1938 to 1940 with an original length of 7.96 kilometers. Has been shortened down to a nice 4.3 kilometers for improved safety and racing action. And today we'll definitely be making use of that format and the action that ensues. Of course, it is our Le Mans Ultimate week. Last week we had the ACC Championship running, but unfortunately I was not available to live stream it. And unfortunately, I know it's just bad news upon bad news, I won't be free next week to cover the action again. But then I'll be free for the rest of the season. Same on the Le Mans Ultimate side of things. It should only be next week, unless I've massively misjudged my calendar, which, to be fair, has happened before, but I don't think it'll happen this time. I double-checked. I'll triple-check tomorrow, just to make sure. But yeah, that means no ACC action next week. Last week they're over at Misano. That's pretty much all I know. I'll come back to you guys in a couple weeks with a summary of all the action that's been going on the ACC side of things. On the Le Mans Ultimate side of things, however, we were at Circuit Algarve 2 weeks ago for round 4, and it was fairly entertaining, even though we only had 5 hypercars and I think it was 9 LMGT3s. We had some great action for the race lead, some great action for P3, and the Aston Martin to keep us entertained mid-race. So yeah, not bad overall. Some gaps being closed to the championship leader. Yeah, things are starting to spice up, and tonight's lineup is also spicing up the championship standings, with some interesting names coming up and some familiar names coming up. But we'll cover all of that in due time. In the meantime, let's actually go trackside. We've been chatting enough. Let's see what it's like out there on the circuit, because I know this track can sometimes just go pouring down with rain, and it can be a very interesting ordeal indeed. So, up at the top currently during qualifying, our first 5 minutes almost over. Belder with a 124.4, Dole Peterson following in P2, Nilsson P3, Kasianov P4, and MG rounding out your hypercar grid, as well as your top 5. So we only have 5 hypercars in today, which is a little bit disappointing, but hey ho, you know, it's one of those things. We only had 5 hypercars last week, and we had plenty of action to look at. So, yeah, I don't think we'll be too disappointed, especially with all the overtaking opportunities on this circuit, such as turn 1, such as turn number 4 as well on that long straight. Turn 6 might get interesting with all the downforce from these hypercars. Should make it very interesting through the S's as well. Turn 12 out into that long straight. Turns 13, 14 and 15 coming through there. Now, I did make a mistake. I have not practiced the corner names, so if I do say these and they sound utterly horrifying, and you are Portuguese and you don't like the way I say it and feel offended, I do apologise. Please do correct me in chat. Or if you're not Portuguese, but you still think it sounds horrible, do let me know and I will see if I can change it up. We had a lot of debate over how to say Nipta. We had all sorts of variants. We had Nib, and then you had to pronounce the E, Nipta, or Nipti. And then we also had Nipt-E, but say it very fast. You know, strange names like that. I'd never heard that last version. But, you know, hey-ho, to each his own. I didn't personally stick with it for too long. As we go on board with a few drivers. Dole Peterson taking pole position away from Belder as we watch in the Alpine. And I think Dole Peterson was in a Toyota last time I checked. Well, not anymore. He is now in an Alpine. We can apparently change manufacturers halfway through the season. So Yeah, I mean, it is nice to see the variety, I'm not going to lie. It is nice to see all these different cars and the different, yeah, all these different bits and bobs here and there. Anyways, cool. So how qualifying works here at HSR Motorsport for now is that we have open qualifying, but they're all in private sessions, so they can't see each other, they can't interfere with each other's lap time. And that means we have both classes essentially doing at exactly the same time. So that was our hyperclass for now. Meanwhile, over on the GT3 side of things, we've got 8 GT3s out here tonight. De Kock in P1, Dudek P2, Zaniewski, Francesco and Lynn rounding out your top 5. Orfanagen comes along in the number 88. Mustang, Ozduru and B in P7 and P8. Well, I say that Ozduru has just jumped up to P4. 2.4 seconds off the lead lap, a 136.347, the current lap to beat in pole position. Held by this man in the BMW. Now, Dudek has been absolutely dominating this championship so far. He's been doing absolutely brilliantly. 4 podiums in 4 races, 1 win. That's the only kind of bittersweet thing. He's only had 1 win this season. 3 podiums, 3 P2 finishes. Yeah, he's looking for that race win today. He's definitely looking for that number 1 position to round out the season. In P2, his nearest championship contender is Eric Nonnenmacher, who is on 78 points, with 2 race wins to his name, and a 3rd podium P3 at Monza round 1, and he's currently on 78 points compared to Nico Dudek's 90. So it is a fairly comfortable margin, and of course today, Nonnenmacher not being here, that will extend Dudek's lead over the pack heading into the final race of the season. It will be very difficult for Nonnenmacher to make that position unless De Kock just doesn't turn up at all. P3 is Weilong Lin, followed by Brandon Kleinen, 49 and 44 points respectively. So those two are continuing their battle. Kleinen not out tonight though, so he's going to be lagging behind. Christian Borgat also not out tonight, even though he is P5 in the championship. George Vasiliadis, Harold De Kock, William van Lagen, Francesco Carli and Steve Moulton round out your top 10 for the class. And of those, we only have Harold De Kock and Van Lagen out on circuit tonight. Marius Zapanides, Zaniewski and Mumtaz, as well as Matthew Reynolds, Jesse Gabriel, Steen van Onker, Babesh Boad, Milan McCulloch, Jordan Gale, Mackenzie Sharp, Bradley Cato, Osam Carney, Josh Redhead, Seth Kershaw, Mario Leito, Emre Ozduri, Jack Berry. Most of those names not turning up. Yeah. So it is a bit of a disappointment, but hey-ho, with Gabriel joining us last week in the Aston Martin, doing some very nice ballet to keep us entertained mid-race. And of course, David Zaniewski last week taking P3 in class. Steve Moulton was around for 2 rounds at the start, while Modest Sapanidas only turned up for the season opener. Steen van Onker showed up for 1 race, round 2. Babesh Boad out tonight on circuit. Actually, the number 92 Porsche yet to set a lap time. Maybe going for a last to first challenge, you know what I mean. Milan McCulloch also only 2 races to his name, as well as Jordan Gale, both the same round. So that was at Spa and Le Mans, as far as my memory serves me correct. Was round 2? No, round 2 was Bahrain. Sorry, all these Le Mans Ultimate Championships are messing with my brain. So it's so we had a round at Bahrain and then Le Mans, which is of course where we saw McCulloch plough into the barrier just a few meters away from the TV camera, which is very entertaining to watch. But I think he is probably not very happy with how that situation turned out. And then yeah, Mackenzie Sharp down. No one is turning up except for Emre Ozduru actually, who's turned up tonight. P4 currently for the number 46, 2.1 seconds off of Dudek. He's improved, but Dudek has also improved, a 135.7 for this BMW right now. Any other names who are out tonight? Oh, Harold De Kock, bit of oversteer. Yeah, not quite ideal for him. In the meantime, Nico Dudek in the Ferrari. Sorry, that was De Kock we were watching in the BMW. This is Dudek in the Ferrari. I knew there was something going on, but of course, you know, with all the changing manufacturers, you can get a little confused. Dal Peterson being a prime example. He's usually in a Toyota, and he just rocked up in an Alpine, so you can understand my confusion. Nico Dudek, though, number 86 Ferrari GT3, that is one killer combination this season, and it continues to work for him. He's probably going to be building up on that gap, and he's actually lost it in the same place we saw Koch lose it as well. As you can see, there are tyre marks on the track, but it's a private session, so Wei Long Lin can't actually see any of that. In terms of the championship standings, Wei Long Lin not really going to gain time on Nico Dudek, gain points on him in the championship. Doesn't really stand a chance of taking P1 here, but I mean he can still give it his all. DSRT v Zvonimir saying evening all, afternoon. Oh, evening, sir. It is 8:15 here in the UK after all. I hope you are doing well. Same place. Perfect. Yes, it is evening. Sorry, my brain tends to go into overthink mode when I'm doing commentary, so sometimes it can be a bit all over the place. Just as we were talking about the manufacturers and different cars and how drivers can swap between cars for rounds, which is very interesting. And Dal Peterson rocked up at round 1 through, I think it was round 1 through 3, let me just confirm. But he rocked up for a good couple races in the Toyota, and tonight he suddenly rocks up in an Alpine. Very, very interesting choice of car. Just all of a sudden, just random Alpine currently on P2, as Sean Belder actually took back pole position for the hypercars. They're all in the pits right now, except for Lo Nissan, who is a new driver, I believe, in the hypercar class. And looks like we actually have 6 cars. Philip Schlichting actually back in tonight. Oh, this is good, because he is currently leading the championship, and he did not appear last week at Algarve, yet he still maintains his championship lead of 79 points. That is, of course, because Kenneth Dal Peterson forgot to sign out of last week's race. So, unfortunately, he got a 5-point penalty. But yeah, Peterson is looking to hold on to that P1 position for now, or go for that P1 position. Of course, it is Sean Belder currently on pole position overall, so it might be a little tricky for him right now. I don't actually know what this hypercar is called, because I don't think I've actually ever seen it. It's not a Lambo. It's got a V on it. It's not. Is it Vauxhall? I think it's Vauxhall. There is some other V named team. I'm sure of it. I'm not exactly. Van Waal. There we go. Van Waal. There we go. J-Met, hello, over on the Twitch side of things. Welcome. The SRT Z Vonimir saying same place Nico spins like the cock. Must be spilled oil on that part of the track. Maybe. Already some sort of issues for them. And I was going to say Lo Nilsson is all over the place, but I suspect he's trying to warm up his tyres for a proper flying lap. He is, after all, just within a second of Belder. Could this be actually the next pole lap time from the Floyd Van Waal Racing team? Currently in P3, he's not too far off. He's definitely ahead of Kasyanov, who is in the, I can't remember what it's called, some sort of Italian exotic car manufacturer. One of those. Anyways, a quick rundown of the hypercar standings while we follow Lo Nilsson. Philip Rico Schlichting is his full name, is the current championship leader. 3 podiums and 2 race wins for him. He didn't rock up at Algarve last week, however, he is still in the championship lead with 79 points. Valentin Cordier in P2 with 59 points and 2 podiums to his name. Sean Belder, P3 on 58 points. I suspect tonight he will be taking away P2 from Cordier, who was driving that Cadillac for rounds 1 through 3. Didn't turn up for last week's race though, so I suspect he's probably done for the championship. I have no clue. We'll see how it goes. Belder's recent performance though has been absolutely flawless. He's been performing really well, and yeah, continues his drought tonight. Well, I say drought. Continues his form tonight with a pole position so far. I'm sure Belder and Dole Peterson will both go for one final lap attempt to set their fast lap times. Belder currently a 1:23.8 and Dole Peterson a 1:24 dead, essentially 45 hundredths. That's the time off. Nilsson, yeah, unfortunately unable to improve on his lap time and take pole position yet. J-Met saying hoping to be driving in this next season. Hopefully there is next season. I'd definitely be down for it. I would also hopefully be racing in this championship, but we'll see how it all goes. So then, to continue the rest of the standings on our hypercar grid, Kenneth Dole Peterson P4 on 52 points, but he's of course back in tonight, currently P2 in that Alpine. Craig Hewlett P5 with 38 points, ahead of Kyrou Samuel in P6 with 30 points. The remaining drivers are Ioannis Lavagnos, Isaac Busby, Reese Valentine and Tony Rucroft for your top 10, while Mikey Story and Matthias Bashenk remain the only drivers to actually have raced this season. Actually, I've seen Bashenk race in a different championship before as well, and he's been very entertaining, mind you. And some other names who have not rocked up to the season, except for a couple tonight. Those names are Artyom Kasyanov, Ryan O'Sullivan, Romalcho MG. I think he's out tonight. Yes, currently P6 on the number 83 Ferrari, same as Belder actually. I don't get why they can't just take different cars. I don't understand these people, but hey ho. Moving on, Alex Pensek, Lo Nilsson, who we're actually following right now, Raul Ciobano, Leonardo Aness, Benville and Rene Larson. Those are the names of the other hypercar drivers in the championship right now, but who haven't been bothered to show up yet, except for Nilsson and Kasyanov and MG tonight, which is great. It's good to see them back out tonight. Schlichting within half a second of Belder, of course, the championship leader, has to show these boys how it's done after not being around last week. Peterson in a similar fashion, currently P2, but Belder, he's been on a roll. 2 podiums in 2 races consecutively so far. Today could be a hat-trick for him if he plays his cards right and this track plays to his strengths. It is quite a overtakey kind of circuit, a circuit where racing is going to be rampant everywhere, and Belder's defense skills will definitely be put to the test. We've seen them put to the test time and time again, and he has absolutely destroyed anyone who's come close to him. Well, I say destroyed. I mean that literally and figuratively. He's been great at defending, is what I mean to say. His defense has been absolutely spot on. It's been amazing. It's always great to see Belder defend. So yeah, Philip Schlichting still on a lap 50, the number 51. That can't be right. It says the number 51 Ferrari AF Corsa, but it's just showing a Porsche going round. I have no clue why this is what it is. That is a very, very fast Porsche 911 as he comes across the line now and improves on his time. Now only 3/10 off of Belder, and Dole Peterson is only a 10th ahead. Lo Nilsson continues his efforts. Ertem Kasyanov in the Glickenhaus. That's what it was called. There we go. The Glickenhaus MG in the other 83 Ferrari. Why didn't you just choose the number 50 or the 51 Ferrari, eh? Why did you have to go to inconvenience me like this? It's always the Ferrari boys. Anyways, on the GT3 side of things, our top 3 have completed their qualifying. Emrias Diru continues his efforts in P4 in the class. He'll probably have one more lap in, and then that will be qualifying over for him, but we'll have to wait and see whether that is the case. Apologies, I've just heard a Lamborghini Huracan rip around outside a couple miles from our house, so as you can imagine, my mind is all over the place right now. It's split between the racing and the the Huracan sound, that lovely V10. Anyways, Philip Schichting still out on circuit, improving on his first sector, second sector negligible, and he is coming through the final couple corners now through turn 14. Turn 15 lies ahead, and then the finish line, the silent killer. Will he come across the line to take pole position on his final attempt? Here he comes across the line. Is going to be an improvement. Yes, it is, and Schichting takes a pole position at 123.7, only 400ths ahead of his fellow Ferrari driver Belder. It might not look like they are fellow Ferrari mates here, but trust me, it is. Schichting takes pole position. Good stuff on the final lap of qualifying. He shows us why he is the current championship leader, as all our GT3s pull into the pit, and it is now only Artyom Kasyanov to complete his qualifying in the Glickenhaus. 7/10 off the best time, but he is improving on his lap time as he comes out of the final sharp-ish corner on the circuit through Hung Chao, turn 12, and then through Sibadi Do's boxes across the line, and it is still P5 for the Glickenhaus, the blue car. That is qualifying over, and that is your grid for the upcoming race. Lovely stuff. Interesting qualifying session for Philip Schichting at the end there. Hopped in late to qualifying, and on the final lap managed to close those magical 3/10 to the rear end of Sean Belder and take pole position. Good stuff from that Ferrari driver. Let us have a look then at our starting order for today. Philip Schichting and Sean Belder. Ferrari lockout on the front row, the number 51 and 83 in P1 and P2. Kenneth Dahl Peterson and Lo Nielsen in the Alpine and the Van Wall line up in P3 and P4, while Kasyanov and Ramocho line up in P5 and P6 to round out your hypercar grid. You've then got Nico Dudek and Weilong Lin, some championship contenders in the LMGT3 class, P1 and P2 for their class. Harold de Kock and Emily Ozduru, two fellow BMWs in P3 and P4. David Zaniewski back again, P11 for him, while Francesco Rancesco lines up in P12, while William van Lagen and Bhavesh B come in at P13 and P14 to round out your whole grid as well as your LMGT3 grid. So, plenty of opportunity to improve on your position here at Sao Paulo. Let's think of some great overtaking opportunities. Turn 1 is going to be the big obvious one. Esto Senna is going to be the big name here. Turn 1. You've then got turn 4, a very, very attractive overtaking position because it is after that very long straight as well. Turn 6, if you can carry your speed through turns 4 and 5 correctly, will be another opportunity before you head into the S's and it gets a little bit too complicated. Maybe a last minute lunge into turn 10, Bico de Pato, and then turn 12, Zhongkao. That sounds more Korean. It's weird. I don't know how to say it. Hun Sao. How do I make it sound Portuguese? Junkao. Junchao. Hun Chao. I don't know, man. I'm just going to call it turn 12, alright? I'm just going to give up on this one. Turn 12, and then through, of course, on that incredibly long left-hander, and then a little bit of a straight before you hit the start line. Sending Ra popping in. Hello, or have all a nice race, and thank you for the stream. No worries, dude. Hello all, and yes, everyone have a great race. I do agree with you on that one. Everyone do please have a good race. Now, I think it is actually the lowest number of GT3s that we've had all season turn up for this race. Not the lowest amount of hypercars though. Philip Schichting coming in clutch at the end, and they depress their clutches as they come across the line. It is go time, and 6 hypercars and 8 LMGT3s go storming down to turn 1 for an hour of racing, and the number 51 is up the inside of the 83. Schlichting loses out to the race lead immediately off the start into turn 1. Sean Belder assumes that race leader, number 83, running in a very familiar position he's run in the last 2 races. It's then Kenneth Dahl Peterson who held on to P3 as they try and warm up their tyres heading into turn 4. Now this is that one overtaking opportunity I told you about that could be very lovely indeed. Amri Ozduri thinking similarly and coming in P2, making up a position on Zaniewski. Lovely stuff, but they're still side by side. The McLaren's still holding on to that position. Heading into the S's, this is going to look very, very interesting. Ozduru in the BMW pushes him out to the outside, still on that defensive line. Zaniewski holds on. Is he going to drift wide? No, some good spacing left by Ozduru, but Zaniewski goes for the cut back into the next corner. Into turn 8 we go, and Zaniewski's taking that window. Ozduru left it open, and he's taken it. The door was left open, and it was a McLaren-sized door, coincidentally. And there we go. Zaniewski gets up the inside and past Ozduru, but it is still the S's that we're looking at. There are still plenty of opportunities for these guys to get past through this section, but of course as well, not much room left to race, so he could run out of space really quite quickly. So it was really good racing between these two for currently P2 in the class. Good stuff. Harold the Cock in the meantime saying thank you very much, I'll just take the race lead and continue building on my gap. Speaking of gap, 0.6 seconds between Belder and Schlichting for the Hypercar Championship lead, but Ozduru and Zaniewski is an even closer gap. BMW around the outside into turn 1 is going to have a little bit more banking, a little more grip around the outside, but of course the inside line is going to be the line where you can defend from such an attack. Zaniewski still holding on to P2, but he has slidden wide. Here comes Ozduru down the inside, and it is going to be his position for sure by the time they get to the braking zone. At least I hope so, or at least he hopes so, and he does move over to the braking line, to the racing line. Still a little undecisive into that left-hander though. He did think that the McLaren was going to come up the inside, and he has indeed. Once more we go side by side through turn 5, heading into turn 6. The other McLaren also looking for an opportunity. Lynn trying to get involved in this battle here. Again, round the outside goes the McLaren, still holding on, but he's further ahead this time. Ozduru defending as much as he can through this right-hander. Turn 8. And then turn 9 is on the outside. Wei Long Lin, he's got an opportunity down the inside. Does he take it? Yes, he does. No, not quite. The BMW does leave him behind with better acceleration out of the corner. Slightly narrow line for Zaniewski through that right-hander. And I think this might be the position done, but we did see this escalate very quickly coming out to the final corner. In the meantime, Sean Belder builds on his gap on Philip Schlichting, 1.5 seconds now. So that last-ditch attempt at a pole position from Schlichting, very much, definitely a last-ditch attempt. It is now a 1.6 second gap, 1.7, it just keeps growing. It's a bigger gap. Actually, it might be Schlichting slowing down, maybe having some technical issues, or it could just be that Belder is freaking fast tonight. Here we go, though. Ozduru move down the inside. He's not going around the outside this time. Makes a decisive lunge for the inside. Good move from the BMW. Decisive, still around the outside. Does the McLaren lose traction again through this right-hander? Slightly. Wei Long Lin, though, better traction than either of them around the outside of the BMW. Now out onto the curb. Barely any racing space left for him as William van Lagen watches all this unfold ahead of him. Almost 3 wide into the left-hander of turn 4. Here we go. Very undecisive on the brakes. And Wei Long Lin round the outside takes 2 positions in the course of 2 corners. Ozduru left in the dust. Zaniewski left in the dust. And Wei Long Lin takes that position. He is now in the defensive racing position for this right-hander heading into turn 7. Larachinha. And he's managed to make it stick. Good stuff from Lin. Wow. Entertainment galore. In the meantime, Zaniewski and Ozduru can only kind of scratch their heads and go, well, we messed up slightly, fighting a bit too hard. Oh my goodness, and Ozduru whacks the rear end of Zaniewski. I know in AssettoCorsa that would have been a spin, but I think the physics in this game are a bit better. So fortunately, the McLaren did not lose control there. Ozduru maybe a bit desperate on the brakes, maybe misjudging his braking point slightly on the throttle though. Zaniewski drops down and Ozduru takes the position. P3 now Lin's. No, sorry, Ozduru's. Lin is way up the field. Wait, Lin made that position way back. He already made that position a long time ago. Woo! Entertaining. Love that. That was brilliant. Lin making the most of a making the most of the opportunity, making the most of the situation. Nielsen, I'm just keeping an eye on the hypercar. 0.5 seconds between Nielsen and Dale Peterson from P3. That final podium position up for grabs. The Van Wall on the rear end of the Alpine. Also Van Lagen also up on the rear end of Zaniewski. Another potential battle to keep an eye on. Open Lobby Racing saying, I'm looking forward to getting amongst it next season. Saying this GT3 battle is class. Absolutely, and I've no clue why I said it was class rather than class, as I would usually say it. It could be because I know who this is, so I don't know, for some reason I just adopt the accent. Oh, I know you would say class rather than class. Although to be fair, I don't know, could be an interesting one. Nah, you would definitely say class. GT3 battle is class. I don't think I've actually spent enough time to be able to imitate your accent, Josh. Sorry about that. So we won't. We will not continue any further on that topic. Let us have a look at what that Van Wall is up to in P4. Let's see where he is. Kenneth Dale Peterson in the Alpine ahead, and Nilsson. It did seem as though his qualifying was in a shambles, but to be fair, it is his first race this season. He could show us some good stuff on Kenneth Dale Peterson, who has had 2 podiums of his own, including a race win at Monza for round 1. Nilsson, just keeping it nice and tidy. It does seem as though Peterson is feeling the pressure slightly already and making some mistakes, making a few track cuts here and there. Same for Nilsson, to be fair. But Nilsson does seem a little bit more calm and composed. Meanwhile, Van Lagen down in P5, looking for an opportunity on Zaniewski. There seems a little bit more opportunity friendly, I guess you could say. He's only 0.2 seconds off of that McLaren, and yeah, here it is. Into turn 6 we go. Could we see a move into the right-hander of turn 8? Oh my goodness, no we won't. Van Lagen loses it, loses the rear end round that right-hander. Does he lose a position to some LMGT3s? Yes, he does. He loses 2 positions, actually, to Francesco and Dudek. Actually, Dudek had a terrible start. Dudek was on pole. Where has Dudek gotten to? Dudek suddenly dropping down to P12. Something's happened to him at the start. Van Lagen also struggling, and of course being, unfortunately, down where he was last week at Algarve. Yeah, unfortunately not the best position for him. In the meantime, we can watch Dudek make quick work of Francesco in the McLaren ahead, or we could see one of the biggest battles erupt this race, but it'll be hard to top that battle between Lynn, Zaniewski, and then of course as Duru. Up the inside goes Dudek. Francesco just trying to maintain his momentum, and I think Dudek has got that position under wraps. It is only 0.1 seconds between them. But yeah, I think that is pretty much it. Francesco could use the slipstream though and dive up the inside. Does he choose to do so? No, he does take the wider race line. Dudek did seem as though he took a defensive line into that corner. He did think there was an opportunity there. But yeah, I think Francesco, he knows it's not quite your... Dudek isn't quite your average LMGT3 driver. He's the championship leader. In the meantime, here come the hypercars lapping the grid for the first time. And of course, as we've said, every single race so far and every single race that I cover when doing Le Mans Ultimate, how you deal with traffic as a hypercar is part of your pace. It is how we see it. If you deal with traffic very nicely and very quickly and efficiently, you are a good driver. If not, you are not a good driver. You could be absolutely rapid, but be absolutely terrible at cutting through LMGT3 traffic, and you will be left in the dust by your fellow peers in the non-ABS little missiles that we call the hypercars. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's another variable to speed. It's another variable to your pace. In the meantime, we can keep an eye on this battle between Kenneth Dale Peterson and the Van Wall, because of course, as we were talking about just a second ago, how you deal with traffic is going to be key, and we've seen traffic play a key role in these races this season. Kasyanov already into the pits. That Glickenhaus, number 708, into the pits already. Was he contact with the GT3? Is he a not a good driver? I don't know why I'm saying it in that accent. I don't know, it just sounds good. But yeah, for some reason, Glickenhaus car already in the pits. SimRacing, Dudek already hunting Kappa. Cool. Oh yeah. I'm sure he is. There's Aniuski, and there is Dudek in the background, actually, in the in that shot. Also, Nilsson and Peterson, who we are following at the moment. Dudek 0.6 seconds off Aniuski. That's going to be a quick little dispatch of position. Nico Dudek in P5 currently. P4 is Aniuski just ahead of him. Also, Open Lobby Racing commenting earlier, the less posh sounding class was on point. Gotcha. I shouldn't make it too posh. Dudek being very posh with his space, leaving just enough space for Aniuski as he tries to make the position through the S as we go. Dudek to the outside, taking that wider line. He's going to have a better run through there. It's not quite a cut back for him, but he will have a little bit more momentum coming through this left-hander and then into the braking zone for turn 12. He's already up the inside though. There we go. That's the opportunity we were talking about earlier. And the number 86 assumes P4. Aniuski not ready to give it up yet though. On the inside, he's got less distance to cover, so he can stay alongside this Ferrari as they head through turns 13, 14 and 15. But I think it is the momentum of the Ferrari around the outside. He might be slightly later on the brakes because he is, of course, currently P1 in the championship. He is one of the top drivers, but Aniuski doesn't care. He's going to fight him all the way. Dudek to the inside for turn 1. That is a killer opportunity of a move there taken by the Ferrari. Well, I say killer of an opportunity. It's your average opportunity. Turn 1 is the best opportunity you've got. He took it, and that is now his position, regardless of what Aniuski can do. Top speed won't save you through that left-hander. I mean, to be fair, you know, theoretically it does. But yeah, I think Dudek just a bit more efficient with how he gets performance out of the tyres. Under braking, absolutely exceptional. That Ferrari takes away P4 from Aniuski, and he now has to chase down Ozuru in that number 46. I do apologise if I sound a little bit nasally. I do have hay fever. It is, of course, that time of the year for the hay fever epidemic to hit the UK. I'm sure Von Emir, you will know all about this as well. Although, to be fair, I went for like a lads reunion with the boys last weekend at Swansea, and almost no one else had any hay fever. So yeah, it did kind of suck me being the only one there. At least I still could taste the food. Although, to be fair, actually on the Thursday evening I had 2 glasses of lemonade. The first one I could taste it, and the second one it suddenly tasted like sparkling water. It was really odd. Over in Brazil though, I don't think they've got any hay fever. It is probably the middle of winter for them right now. We are approaching the middle of summer here in the UK. Over on the southern hemisphere though, it is going to be winter. Although it'll still be warmer there. It'll still be hotter. It'll still hit like 30 degrees. Still, it's one of those countries that's hot and humid all year round. Whether it's summer, whether it's winter, it's going to be hot. Anyways, the hot topic at the moment is, of course, Sean Belder in P1 for his class right now, and overall, Sean Belder in the race lead, shifting P2 and old Peterson P3 on the hypercar class. Well, Nissan and MG round out your top 5. We've then got on the GT3 side of things, De Kock currently leading the race with Lynn and Ozuru in P2 and P3. There's Lynn in the background, and we don't quite see Dudek or Ozuru yet, as the Glickenhaus gets caught up on some Alum GT3 traffic. But yeah, good stuff from De Kock, really capitalising on the situation. Good stuff. Currently in P7 in the championship. He showed up for every single race. Could this be his first race win on the cards? Potentially, if Dudek has nothing to say about it. I'm sure he does, because he currently is chasing his second race win of the season and his 5th podium running so far. While Lynn, well, he's there for the ride. Currently P3, he's looking to take away P2 from Nonnenmacher. This could be his opportunity actually to make some ground on Dudek, although to be fair, only 2 positions difference here. Yeah, I don't see how it's going to be possible heading into the final round of the championship next race. Almost said next week. almost got me caught out there. But actually, we've got a slow-moving belt there, and actually Schlichting has taken the race lead here. Something's happened in the hypercar class. Belder was fine just a second ago. I think there was some sort of mistake. He might have gotten caught up on an LMGT3, and he's now 6/10 behind Philipp Schlichting in the number 51. Of course, this is the order in which they are in the championship. Schlichting and then Belder, with Valentin Cordier separating them in the championship standings. But realistically, it is Belder's to win here, and he's the closest rival to Philipp Schlichting in the championship. But yeah, Schlichting maybe finally getting some pace on tonight. It did seem as though in the first 15 minutes he did struggle to get up to pace, and that one qualifying lap was just the one magical lap. Consistency not quite his thing. It does seem to be the case here in the second 15 minutes of the race. Remaining 45 minutes of the race, Belder applying some copious pressure to the rear end of that number 51. Heading into turn 4, Belder does look to the inside. Is he going to be later on the brakes? Yes, he is. Surges towards the apex and takes the race lead. Sean Belder, he lost it just a second ago. He's regained it even less than a second ago, and he is now in P1. Schlichting not going down without a fight, though. He's still on that rear end, still trying to conserve as much momentum as he can and lose as little time as he can. Maybe it is going to be strategy for the number 51 this race. It's going to be strategy that'll win him. And actually, we saw that work out so very well at Bahrain. We saw him make a very late pit stop and do some absolutely brilliant things in the final couple laps at Bahrain. In fact, taking the race lead with 4 corners to go from Valentin Cordier and win that race, his second race win of the season. He's chasing his third one though, so it is going to be not quite a hat-trick. He won round 2, round 3, and then wasn't there for round 4 last week at Algarve, but I'm sure he still wants that P1 position. Doesn't quite seem to be on top when it comes to the lap times though. When it comes to lap times, currently a 1:25. Yeah, I can't quite see it for some reason. My thingamajiggy won't let me change it. Actually, I've got an even better idea. Why am I doing this? For some reason, yeah, my thingamajiggy won't let me do my thingamajiggy. Here we go. Information, technical details and technical issues. Let's see. No, even then. Eee, that's weird. Here it is. No. Oh, yes, no. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what the fastest lap times are going to be. Schlichting gets really close to the rear end of the number 83, and I've realised very recently that I'm saying rear end that I'm saying rear end a lot. It does sound better than butts or buttocks or some of the more, how do you say it, less kosher ways of saying it. Why isn't this thing working? Please, I want lap times. Why no lap times? This thing's just not giving it to me. Anyways, it's not quite. The software has been giving me issues for the last couple of weeks. All I know is Belder and Schlichting are very different when it comes to their lap times. Belder currently in the race lead, Schlichting P2, and then Dole Peterson P3. But to be fair, that Alpine is caught up as these two battle for the race lead, as the nerves settle for Belder, as the nerves kick in for Schlichting as well. He needs to be sure not to lose any ground on Belder, and actually looks towards the inside. Belder losing it slightly on the brakes. Interesting. Is that Belder getting nervous? I don't know. One driver who is getting very nervous is, of course, Osduru in P3 on the LMGT3 side of things. Currently only 3/10 ahead of Nico Dudek, the championship leader in that Ferrari. He's been absolutely flying through the grid tonight. Here we go, out on the main straight, 0.2 tenths. 0.2 tenths, why do I make this mistake every single time? 0.4 seconds or 3/10 between Belder and Schlichting. I don't think there's an opportunity for Dudek here, so we'll hop back to the championship lead battle as they come up on some traffic. Schlichting, he's got a little bit more momentum now. That GT3 sat on the apex for Belder. Into turns 13, 14 and 15 we go. It is slipstreaming galore for Schlichting. Aero round the outside. He goes. Belder on that defensive line into turn 1. They touch, and then through the left-hander. Under braking, falls back. Schlichting looking for the cut back, and he's got it alongside for turn 2. Sean Belder loses traction through that right-hander. Schlichting off circuit, has again an advantage. Will he have to give that position back? It doesn't matter. Belder's on the inside. Out onto the main straight, heading into turn 4. Belder just ahead. He's on that defensive line. They're being squeezed into it by Schlichting, and he does manage to recover that position. He does manage to recover the racing line, and that is Belder back ahead after a very tense few seconds and a very tense couple corners, turns 1 through 4. In the meantime, Dudek did make that position on Ozuru. We just missed it. Half a second now between them, as actually Lynn is 0.7 seconds off the cock as well for P1. The LMGT3 lead here also at stake. This is great. Racing action all up and down. Racing action for the championship lead. Well, championship leads, I say race leads on both the LMGT3 and the hypercar side of things. It's now a second between Lynn and the cock, so I reckon it's going to be a longer game for Lynn. He needs to get there before Dudek does, though. 6.6 seconds between Lynn and Dudek. 38 minutes. Is that going to be possible for the number 86 Ferrari? I reckon he will close that gap. Actually, I don't know. William Lynn's best lap is a 1:37 dead. Nico Dudek's best lap, a 1:36.6. So yeah, I think Dudek can close the gap. It's then a question of whether he'll get past, because Lynn, of course, we saw him absolutely fly through those two drivers named Zanevsky and Ozuru, who are now 14 seconds apart, the number 46 and the 70, in a massive battle at the start of the race. And then Wei Long Lin just kind of cruised on by. He was like, hey guys, I'm here, I'll see you later. And he's now up into P2 and chasing down the race leader. Another driver chasing down the race leader is Philip Schlichting, 0.2 seconds of Belder. Almost said 0.2 tenths. Almost made that same mistake. Yeah, this is going to be entertaining. The Belder-Schlichting war. We had that. Did we have that at Le Mans? Was that? Yeah, that was Schlichting and Belder, the two drivers fighting all the way at Le Mans. It was 40 minutes of non-stop action between these two. Oh my goodness, is that the LMGT3 tagged by the hypercars? That is Ozuru slightly sideways, and now the other drivers in the hypercar class all form up. Meanwhile, Lynn, 3/10 off of the cock as well. You've got so many things to look at. Oh my goodness, Lynn. Actually, we can also see the hypercars potentially appear over the horizon in the background. No, not quite yet. Lynn closing ground, 0.4 seconds between these two. In the meantime, Lone Nilsson right up on the rear end of the Alpine as well. They're going to get caught up on that traffic. The Alpine needs to be careful here. Nilsson, if he maximizes the exit here, he could get a lovely run, but he is impeded by that Ferrari. Nico Dudek holding him up slightly. That hasn't impacted his momentum too much, though. Peterson still ahead. Nilsson 0.3 seconds ahead, behind him. Actually, sorry, not ahead yet. I'm jumping the gun. Slow down there, Yanis. I'm not sure as to who is going to hold the lead here. Between Peterson and Nilsson, I mean, who's going to hold on to P3, because Peterson has had the experience this season. He's shown himself to be very consistent, very good on the race course, very good at his consistency. But then again, you know, Nilsson, he's performing tonight. He's put some relentless pressure on that Alpine ahead. Meantime, Philip Schlichting and Sean Belder virtually alongside as they dispatch the cock in the GT3. Wei Long Lin also right up behind him. Oh my goodness, there's battles all over the place. We've also got the Alpine and the Van Wall alongside, heading into the left-hander. And Dudek, no, that is, sorry, now is the cock being pushed wide by Wei Long Lin as the GT3s now make their way around turns 13, 14 and 15. Heading down into turn 1, that McLaren has got a prime opportunity. Same for Schlichting in the hypercar race lead. Let's see where they are at the moment. Still there. And in the meantime, Lone Nilsson down the inside of Peterson. He's gone completely wide. He scuffed it into turn 1. Turn 2, he does cut the track and he holds on to that position, but his momentum is, of course, breaking up. And Peterson assumes the race lead. Woo, all sorts of things happening there. Harold the Cook still under pressure from Wei Long Lin. 0.3 seconds. You can see them in the background there. This is going to be the next opportunity potentially into turn 4, but I think that is slightly calmed down. 0.210, 0.2 seconds. Yeah, it's not 0.2 tenths between these two. It could virtually be though. Schlichting and Belder heading into turn number 6. Ferradura, then Larachinga, then the SA. Belder still ahead, slightly wide through that right-hander. Schlichting is still applying all that pressure. 0.5 seconds between Lin and de Kock for the LMGT3 class as well. This is non-stop racing action for us here at the 34th minute of the race. Great stuff. We've seen half an hour of racing action, and I hope we see 34 minutes more as we head through the left-hander now. Into turn 12 we go. 0.2 tenths. 0.2 seconds between these two. I do apologise. Half a second then. Okay, that's calmed down. Whew! Okay, half a second between these two. They'll be fine. Kenneth Del Peterson, 3/10 ahead of Nielsen. There we go. Got that right that time. And it's 0.4 seconds between de Kock and Lin. What are the odds that we will see a position change in all three of these battles all at exactly the same time, huh? I bet Belden Schlichting are going to have something into turn, let's say number 4. Let's say next lap. This is my prediction. Next lap we see change of position. Well, it might actually be this lap. Sean Belder, nope. He keeps his cool. And Schlichting does just slot in behind. Okay, so yeah, predictions then. Next lap we come into... Actually, let's say turn 8. Schlichting's had a good run up the inside, though. It might be turn 8 this time round. He's already up the inside, and Belder pushed to the outside, as you can see that position. Casual move for the lead. 83 up down the inside again, though. Schlichting still holding on to that position. To the left-hander they go. Woo! Still under contention here, and Belder has lost out to that position. Onto the grass he goes under braking. Can he take that position? No, he can't. He'll have to wait for turn 1. And that is now Schlichting's position. 32 minutes remaining. We are halfway through the race, and the lead has changed once more. We've seen it only change once, and we've had some massive battles for it. And now it has changed once more. 0.4 seconds between them as they head around the circuit for yet another lap. Woo! I love this. In the meantime, Harold the Cook and Wei Long Lin still separated by 0.3 seconds. Nope, it's separated by 0.0 seconds, minus 0.2 seconds. Lin takes the race lead away from the Cock, who's had a magnificent race so far, but it is Lin who's had an even better one. And Dudek, currently in P3, looking to make a similar position. He's already caught up to these two. As I told you earlier, he has got the pace tonight. It is game on for the Ferrari tonight. And he is already catching up to these two. Look to the outside, look to the inside for the Cock, a dummy around the outside. Lin still around the outside, still maintaining his momentum, comes to the apex, still ahead. And in the meantime, Dudek closes some ground on that BMW, almost around the outside of turn 3 now. On the inside for turn 4, is it going to be a cutback? Can he get any slipstream on that McLaren ahead? Not quite. He's not quite alongside either, so it'll have to be a lunge under braking for him to get to that apex first and make the position, and he does lunge for it. Good move from the Ferrari, and he does take P2. Lovely stuff. The Cook, it is your time, my friend. Unfortunately, you have to concede that position this time round. And it is now Dudek in P2, Lin P1, and de Kock shuffled down to P3. He will probably still hold on to that position. He is 6 seconds ahead of us, Duru. We'll have to wait and see how things go. In the meantime, we've got 4 hypercars starting down to turn 1. Philip Schlichting down the inside. Belder goes defensive, and Schlichting has to take some evasive action. Still down the inside. No, we've got Nielsen on the inside of Peterson actually in the background. That Von Wall assaulting the blue car in the background. Heading into turn 4, slightly jumpy is Schlichting and Belder. These two have been going at it for the past half an hour, and they will continue doing so. 0.1 seconds between them. Heading through the right-hander, they are so closely matched, these two. Two Ferraris battling for the race lead, as we saw at Le Mans. At least 2 different coloured Ferraris this time. You know, it's not the 251s, it's a 51 and an 83. You know, so we're all settled there at least. They did come to agreement, although to be fair, MG messed that up, didn't he? He's in number 83, but at least he's not involved in all of this much action. You know, he is unfortunately down in P5, but he's not last. Kasianov currently in P6, and Lagen DNFs. I think that might be because of what happened right at the start. He did, of course, lose out. He lost control, and yeah, has lost out. Peterson really close up behind Schlichting, though. Could this be a move for P2 on the cards for Peterson? He's been under pressure from Van Wall for a very long time. It's something else to put pressure on someone else. Here we go, top 3 names in the hypercars. Heading into turn 1, late move from Peterson up the inside of Schlichting. No, not quite. Peterson does not manage to make that position, and it's a good judgment of distance for Schlichting in the Ferrari ahead, showing us why he is the championship leader. Here we go, direct up the inside for Lynn, though, for the race lead, and Lynn has to take a race of action. The race lead has changed hands once more. It is now Dudek's position. The number 86 takes the race lead, and he's in a very familiar position. Is this going to be his second win of the season? Let's see how it goes. For Lynn, though, it is going to be his second podium of the season. Let's see what he can do. Can he hold off the, well, I mean, he's already overtaking the Cock, so, you know, that kind of competition is already out the window. Not really too much on the cards for him. It is P2 for him now. Dudek takes the race lead and the points that come with it. Heading into the last round, he will be absolutely unstoppable. Open Lobby Racing, aka Josh Redhead, saying the fact that there's still 4 hypercars within a second of each other 30 minutes in is unreal. Great driving, lads. I absolutely agree. And most of it is down to, oh my goodness, here we go, Van Wall up the inside of the Ferrari. I didn't actually see that they swapped positions. Peterson lost out to Nielsen a while ago, and here we go, Van Wall around the outside of turn 2. Schlichting loses out P3, and here comes Peterson as well. Maybe a rough ride for the Ferrari. The number 51 not quite able to maintain his momentum through those first couple corners. Wow, Van Wall suddenly up 2 positions, and Nielsen takes P2. The driver that seemed to be going erratic during the qualifying session has now made a move for not only P3, he's taking P2 as well. Good stuff from the number 4. He's currently now in P2, and it is his turn to see whether he can get past Belder and stay ahead of Belder, because we've seen Schlichting make that position many a time, even at Le Mans, and stay ahead, but then lose it out just a couple seconds later. Here we go, though. Nielsen up the inside on the brakes. He's got the corner and he's gone wide. Oh, man. There goes all his progress down the drain, and he'll have to reset. He's going to be outside of 2 seconds now as they head out onto the straight. Ah, disappointment for the Van Wall. P4 for the number 4. Is that karma? I don't know. It was the commentator's curse, potentially, if you could call it that. Ah, man. He had his opportunity, it was too big, and he locked up heading into that right-hander. Oh, man, better luck next time, mate. At least we'll see him get past Peterson at some point in the future, though. Potentially. I'm not saying it will happen. I know that might have sounded a bit it might have sounded like it jumped the gun slightly, but I think he'll do it. I think we could see Nielsen come back. 1.2 seconds is not quite within slipstreaming distance, but if these guys battle, he's going to catch up. It's just how it works. These two are going to be locked in a never-ending battle, and then, of course, Nielsen will gain some ground and catch up to these guys. As I say, Schlichting, again, alongside Sean Belder as they head through the right-handers now into turn 8. It's still the yellow Ferrari ahead. Maybe it's the luck of the number 83 Ferrari who won Le Mans 24 hours this year. Maybe that's on the side of Sean Belder today. It is going to be his first race win of the season, believe it or not. He's had 3 P2 finishes. It is going to be a hat-trick of podiums for him, with his question of whether he can get his first race win. Nielsen absolutely sending it in the background. Already 0.3 seconds off of Peterson. So really managed to close that 1.2 second gap very, very quickly. 0.6 seconds between Schlichting and Peterson himself. Half a second between Nielsen and Dole Peterson. It's then Schlichting 0.3 seconds off of Belder. Meanwhile, over on the GT3 side of things have calmed down. It seemed to have been a crazy race start. Drivers displaced from their positions, and it's all kind of settled back into how it should be. Harold de Kock P3, William Lynn P2, and Dudek P1. Here we go, passing traffic. Schlichting still on the inside, nothing there, and I think Dole Peterson might get caught up on the traffic. Does look like it, doesn't it? 1 second. No, not quite. Everyone's still, as Josh said, everyone's still within a second of each other. Or traffic playing a role in the race lead for the hypercars, though. Way long. No, that is Zanussi, sorry, in the other McLaren, the number 70. Is currently still going around the circuit, and that might interfere in the P3 battle. But we watch P1, though, Schlichting a wider line through that right hander, maybe even getting caught up on the rear bodywork of the number 83 ahead. Woo! 24 minutes of action to go. I'm sure we'll see 24 minutes of intense action to go. Pit stops should be happening very soon, I reckon. Let's see how much energy have these guys got left. Energy remaining. Only 37, 39, 37, 31 and 31. So still quite a ways to go. We'll have a late pit stop from everyone pretty much, and then we shall see some proper chaos because, of course, there is no ghosting allowed in the pit lane, so that should make some pit stop very interesting. We've seen that last week at Algarve. We saw someone drive right into the rear end of someone. Now we see someone drive right into the side of someone else. Belder on the racing line, Schlichting on the inside. All that compromised his exit out of turn 4. It seems he's compromised his entry into that corner so that he can keep it clean and keep it on the rear end of the number 83, heading through the right-hander of turn 6 and 7. Can he take the opportunity of turn 8? Meanwhile, Peterson also thinking exactly the same thing. Here comes Nielsen, though. He's got momentum. Down the outside, Peterson up the inside as the traffic plays a role. There goes Nielsen up the inside of Dole Peterson, and he's made that move stick already. The traffic definitely playing a role here. Peterson, unfortunately, unable to hold onto that position. The Alpine has lost out to the Van Wall once again. 22 minutes to go, and let's see whether Nielsen can take P2 from Schlichting again, and whether he can then challenge for the race lead. He challenged it once, he locked up, he went straight on at turn 8. Let's see whether he can make that move stick this time and potentially take a road race win here. Because that would be sick. Doesn't show up for 4 out of the 6 races. Turns up round 5. And takes the debut race win on his day. Takes his first race win on his debut. That would be sick. It would also be sick for Belder to finally gain his race win. He's been chasing that for 4 races now. He's had 3 P2. Well, sorry, 2 P. I'm already again. Sorry with jumping the gun, guys. But he's had 2 P2 finishes this season. He's definitely going to get. I reckon he'll get a hat trick. But it's a question of whether he takes his first race win or not. Because Belder, I think he's definitely deserved it. He's put in so much effort. He's such a skilled driver. He's been battling Schlichting all the way. And yeah, I think if any of these 4 drivers really deserve a race win here. Schlichting's just been absolutely amazing in terms of pace. In terms of race lead possession, it's kind of been 50-50 between these 2. But yeah, Schlichting has just been on top of things all the way. You know, that massive strategy call in Bahrain, amazing racing back there as well. That, you know, all of this effort deserves him a race win. And the Van Wall behind, first race, he's already up into P3, challenging one of our, I don't want to say seasoned veterans yet, because it is only so far 1 season I've seen him race, but you know, taking on a very fast driver, taking on Dole Peterson, making his way past, and actually making his way past Schlichting as well. Schlichting on the inside, to the outside again. Interesting. A lot of movement here, a lot of dummies being thrown, and Belder, distracted by all of it, under braking, hasn't managed to keep hold of it. Schlichting round the outside, takes the race lead. Here comes Nielsen as well. It's been a terrible exit for Belder. Peterson also then involved there. 4-way battle here for the race lead. Schlichting on the inside line. Belder holds it to the inside line for just a little bit longer. The Van Wall also being defensive on the Alpine round the outside. And there we go. Schlichting loses out to Nielsen as well. Wow, Nilsson taking most of the opportunity. Bang wheels through the right-hander. And again, Nilsson makes a mistake. Again, he has that opportunity to get alongside, to take the race lead, but he makes the same mistake every single time. He just messes it up whenever he takes a lunge at the race lead. He needs to make it a nice, cool, calm, and collected attempt, and not just rush it. I feel that's the thing here. Yes, there's 20 minutes to go. It's 20 minutes. We've had 40 minutes of racing action. Oh my goodness, it's shifting sideways. Belder also wide. Here comes Peterson. Here comes Nilsson. 3 wide into turn 12. Oh my goodness, Schlichting holds on to the race lead, and Peterson takes P2. We've certainly had a massive shuffling of positions. Belder up the inside of the Alpine now, heading into turn 1. This is going to look very, very interesting indeed as well. Kenneth Peterson holding on to that outside line as best he can, but of course, number 83 has less ground to cover. Still down the inside into turn 1. That is definitely going to be his position. Lock up from the number 51 ahead. Woo! 4 cars, 4 hypercars, absolutely having at it tonight here for the race lead. Not just P2, not just P3, it is P4 at stake here as well. P1 on top of it all. Here we go, Nilsson up the inside, and he does make that position stick. Lovely stuff. And Peterson, unfortunately, loses out. Nilsson, come on, man. If you're going to do it cool, calm, and collected. He's had 2 attempts on Belder. This is going to be his 3rd attempt. If he can get this right, he's already gotten past Schlichting, and then he knows it's game over. Van Wall has the pace tonight. Nilsson has got the pace to win the race. He just needs to stay calm enough to do it. He shouldn't just... He's been very good at taking opportunities, and this is his opportunity to lose that position. Nilsson, again, under pressure, just not quite managing to keep a nice, cool, calm and collected. Dole Peterson 1.4 seconds of Belder, 1.7 seconds for Nilsson. He's lost out on that opportunity. Man, maybe pit stops, maybe pit stops. This could be where Nilsson comes in. This could be his opportunity to make a position or 2, maybe hold on to a position or 2. Meanwhile, Sean Belder, 0.3 seconds on the rear end of Schlichting. These two have been going at it for almost an hour now. And this has just been absolutely epic battles. It's been so good I can't even describe it. It's just been non-stop action, man. It's been amazing. Meanwhile, on the pit-up side of things, Dudek and Lynn swapped positions. Lynn in the race lead still. Dudek P2 just within a second of them. Open Lobby Racing saying, this racing, man, absolutely. This is what you love to see. This is what we love to see every single week. Let's have a look at the pit stops taken so far. So Kasinov has taken a pit stop. The Kokens and Yuski have taken pit stops. Ozduro as well. So actually something's happened to Dudek. That's why he's behind Lynn now. That is the reason why he's behind Lynn. So there was something... He's made a mistake somewhere. It's not pit stops yet. So yeah, very interesting, very, very interesting. Well, I say interesting. This whole race has been absolutely mind captivating. There's a different way of saying interesting. Thinking of all the synonyms of the word interesting. But wow, yeah, the racing tonight has been absolutely incredible. It's calmed down slightly now. Half second between Belder and Schlichting, but I'm sure of it, these pit stops are going to play a role. 2.6 seconds between Dole Peterson and Nilsson now, 1.6 seconds between Belder and Peterson. We're back to the original kind of format, if you will, except that Belder and Schlichting have swapped positions. It's the same kind of spacing, half a second, then 1.5, then 2.5. So yeah, it's now down to Peterson to try and close the gap on these two. If they continue battling, that's his opportunity. If he gets caught up in the battle as well, Nilsson will then close the distance too. Yeah, Nilsson just needs to keep it consistent. That's his problem. That's his issue. He just needs to keep it cool, calm, collected. Consistency is what he's aiming for. It's what he should be aiming for. And then he can, then he can perform. He's had 3 opportunities to make a move on Belder. He's had 3 chances at taking the position away from the number 83. 2 of them for the race lead. And he's just, every time, just messes it up with something. First time it was a lock-up. Second time it was contact side by side. Door banging. and he's actually lost out massively now. 5.5 seconds off Dole Peterson now. That gap has massively opened up. Another mistake, I reckon, for the Van Wel. Man, it's been pace for him tonight. He's had some really good pace, but consistency just hasn't been there for him tonight, and I think his luck has run out. 6.5 seconds. If he's managed to gain any aero damage, any damage to the rear wing or the underbody, you know, that's his race over. He's losing ground on these guys every single corner. 6.5 seconds. We'll see whether that gap opens up or not. We'll keep an eye on it. 1.4 seconds between Dole Peterson and Belder. We can still see the green car in the background though, so that is at least a small, a small token of comfort for us that hopefully his race is not over yet, and we might still see some battling between himself and the Alpine. 6.5 seconds. Yeah, it's opened up. We'll have to see what it looks like in 15 minutes or so, because in 14 minutes it is the end of the race. It has absolutely flown by. The racing in action tonight has been absolutely brilliant. It always helps passing the time. Yeah, 7/10 then. Dole Peterson actually doing a great job at catching up to the rear end of number 83. He's done very well. Now within a second, it's gone from 1.4 seconds to suddenly within 1 second. Again, traffic could be playing a role here. 6.5 seconds between Nielsen and Dole Peterson. Now 7 seconds. Yeah, I reckon he's gathered either some damage or the LMGT3 traffic is horrific for the number 4. I don't think it's traffic though. Let's see where he is. No, there's no traffic in sight. I reckon there's damage to that Van Wel. Wow. Okay, so then 47 minutes of racing action, and we now have a short, a little respite from that. Shifting currently in the race lead, Belder P2 and Dole Peterson P3 all over on the GT3 side of things. Lynn and Dudek P1 and P2. Francesco P3 actually, so did Koch, losing out somewhere. And some massive gaps now. Lynn 34 seconds behind Casino, obviously because that's a hypercar and GT3 gap. But Dudek 11 seconds behind Lynn. Something's happened there. And something is happening here. Ferraris galore. Ferrari traffic. Holding up some more Ferrari traffic. But the Alpine is held up by it even more. Belder under pressure. He's got a lot of nerves, this guy. But he's managed to keep cool, calm and collected. Schlichting seems to be the one that's slightly erratic in his driving a little bit. But we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out. I'm sure we'll see some more racing action between these two. 12 minutes to go. It is 10 more minutes of racing plus a final lap. Who do we reckon is going to hold on to this race lead? Is it going to be Belder? Is it going to be Schlichting? I don't know, because they are now virtually side by side on the exit. Belder up the inside, Schlichting going around the outside of steering. Oh, there's contact! Schlichting into the wall! No! Schlichting out of this race. That rear left suspension is gone. And Schlichting, after 49 minutes of action, has succumbed to an LMGT3 related injury and has met the barrier hard. And that is the end of Schlichting's race tonight. The championship leader crash out of this race, and Sean Belder assumes the race lead. Nielsen P3 and Dole Peterson P2 at this time. But oh my goodness, Schlichting, no. Our race leader was battling with Belder for so long, round the outside of a GT3, and yeah, it just came back on the track. Unsafe rejoin, you can say, potentially. Smashes into the side of Belder. Belder might have some damage now, but it was side by side at least, so I don't think it's diffuser related damage for the number 83. But yeah, I think, I don't know. Belder and Schlichting, it was the one time they didn't interact very friendly this time, and you can see the results. Schlichting out of the race, and Belder now in the race lead. Oh man, it was at this very corner going around the outside, and yeah, just not a very safe jointly. it was an unsafe rejoin, and yeah, unfortunately just smashed into the side of Belder. I'm surprised that Belder hasn't sustained more damage, to be fair. 10 minutes to go. Yeah, it was side by side. It was more like a massive door bang. It was a door smash, I should say, between the two Ferraris, but he still managed to hold on to that. So could this be Belder's first race win this season? First race win, third podium. It's going to be a hat-trick for the number 83 if he can keep Joel Peterson off his case and he doesn't spin out himself or ride out into a wall, as we've seen Schlichting do tonight. Meanwhile, Zaniewski actually going at it in P5 and P6 here. I think we saw this battle much earlier. Zaniewski and Osduri, the BMW and the McLaren once more going at it, but up at the top of the standings, Sean Belder and Peterson now side by side. Round the outside goes Peterson. He's got a longer way to go, so this might still be side by side. Heading into turn one, under braking, it'll be the one latest on the brakes who surges towards the apex. It is Sean Belder at this time, and he does manage to hold on to that position just about. Again, Belder's defensive driving is absolutely amazing, as we've seen tonight and at Le Mans, and it does seem as though he is now in his groove. 0.3 seconds ahead of Peterson. Peterson just applying some good pressure. In the meantime, Nilsson 7 seconds behind. Yeah, either another mistake or just damage. I don't think he's losing time in every single corner, so it can't be damage. At least he hasn't, sustained anything major. Peterson looking for an opportunity. It's his turn to make a move on Belder. As we've seen, he's just been consistent, cool, calm and collected. If he's making this position, it's going to be very well deserved, and it's going to be very blatant and not difficult to miss. Belder, if he, I don't know, if Peterson gets taken out by Belder here, yikes, scary stuff tonight. We can't blame Schlichting's murder on Belder, because that was kind of I don't know, I think there's something to be said for both of them. Unsafe rejoin from Schlichting, trying to get back to the racing line way too quickly, and Belder maybe not taking that into account as much. I don't know. Racing incident, I'll leave this up to the race stewards. It's not up to me. 7.5 minutes to go. Can Belder withstand the pressure from that Alpine for this long? He's forced into the middle of the circuit now, to the outside line, to the racing line. Does take into account the GT3s on the outside and still manage to hold on to that position. It's turn one, that's the hot spot for overtaking here between the two hypercars and any cars on the circuit at all. And he's still managed to hold on to that position. So Belder, he's only got another couple laps to go. I'd say another 3 or 4 laps to go. If he can just withstand Peterson for another 7.5 minutes, he has got this race win in the bag. Third podium of the season, first race win of the season, but he has to withstand a copious amount of pressure from Peterson in the Alpine behind. For Peterson, this could be another podium on the board for him. This could be also podium number 3 for him. He's already got a race win under his belt at Monza. It's whether he can get a second race win now. That's up for grabs for him, but it'll be his third podium of the season. But it's a bigger occasion for Belder. He's got the most to lose here, as we see the second number 83 ahead. But yeah, Belder, he's got. So let's have a look at it. He's currently P3 in the championship. Schlichting's just crashed out, so he'll probably gain a load of points on Schlichting and could be neck and neck for the championship lead, and we'll come right back to that because the race lead is at stake here. Peterson and Belder both on the defensive line. Yeah, Peterson just needs to change something if he wants to get past that past that yellow Ferrari. He needs to gain time somewhere else. He needs to gain time somewhere. Yeah, he's not quite got it in the right places. Belder on the defense into turn one is absolutely amazing. He's like a wall you just can't get by. So yeah, Sean Belder, he's got the most to lose here. This could be a hat-trick for him, hat-trick of podiums. One of only 2 drivers to potentially get it. Schlichting being the other driver with P2, P1 and P1 in the first 3 rounds of the championship. Oh, Peterson, he did look towards the inside. Sean Belder didn't move to the outside though, and contact between them alongside. So Peterson, yeah, taking my advice of finding speed somewhere else. Meanwhile, Zaniewski and the Cock, well, they were very close behind, but they then one of them dove into the pits. Out onto the main straight we go once more. 0.3 seconds between them. Belder ahead slightly more than before. Peterson, whether he makes that move up the inside or choose the outside once more, and might not have a choice. Force to the outside, contact between them heading into turn 1. Still side by side, and yeah, Peterson once more to the outside line, and Belder keeps it nice and tidy. 0.2 seconds between them. 4.5 minutes to go. He's done very well to hold on to this race lead for so long. He's been under constant pressure from both Peterson and Schlichting, and even the rogue Van Wal of number 4, who's currently in the pits. Yikes. Yeah, Belder, absolutely amazing job tonight. Belder definitely looks like he's got proper racing experience, says Josh from Open Lobby Racing. Yes, I think so too. It does seem to be that way. Meanwhile, we've got an old battle stirring between these two. Zaniewski and Osterio once again side by side, the McLaren and the BMW. Up the inside goes Osterio, turn 12, contact between them. Zaniewski turns in to find a BMW in the way of his racing line. And I guess Osterio gains that position. P4 for the BMW, P4 for the number 46. Interesting way to make it, I'd say interesting way to make a position. It was Zaniewski who kind of just turned in on it. It was really quite funny. Here we go, they're out on the exit. Belder and Peterson closer than ever before. 0.1 seconds between them heading into turn 1. Again, round the outside. Can Peterson hold on to that? No, he can't. Again, Belder absolutely stunning on that defense. Although, yeah, Schlichting saying some dirty racing here. Yeah, it is slightly dirty. But, you know, oh, here we go, though. Peterson, he's managed to stay on the rear end of that number 83. Bit tighter this time. And heading into the left-hander of turn 4. Unfortunately, the GT3 does get in the way this time as well. So it's now half a second between them. 2.5 minutes to go between them. It's a minute and a half, essentially, per lap time here. So we could see one more lap of racing after this, if my calculations are correct. It might be, it's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. Oh, Belder sitting on the exit of that corner. Peterson alongside through the right-hander. Again, contact. Yeah, I might agree with you on this one, Schlichting. A little bit of dirty racing going on here between Belder and Noel Peterson. But to be fair, it could be worse. It could be way worse. Opportunistic move on the traffic there through the left-hander, but it had to be done for Belder to maintain his momentum. Through the final corner, 2 minutes to go. Will we see? Yeah, we'll see another 2 laps of racing. Noel Peterson dives at the inside, on the inside of the GT3, and he's managed to take that inside line, but unfortunately loses out. And is that potentially some damage for Noel Peterson? 1.1 seconds. What's happened here? Kenneth Noel Peterson, almost the move of the race here, and he's just lost it. Sean Belder allows him back through. I suspect there was maybe contact between them, and Belder allows him through. Good sportsmanship on display between these two, and Peterson takes the race lead. What has just happened? I have no clue what just happened. So I suspect it might have been... What? So Belder... Huh? Or is it Belder that just got damage? What is happening? Belder losing ground 2.1 seconds. Ha! My brain is trying to comprehend what is happening right now. So Peterson's now in the race lead, 2.2 seconds ahead of Belder. Oh, no fuel. Potentially. No fuel, no energy. Yeah, 5%. They are close. Is that what's happened to Belder? Oh my goodness. I mean, 30 seconds and then final lap. So this will be the final lap now, once Peterson comes across the line. And yeah, I think you're right, Schlichting. Belder on a very much fuel-conserving strategy here. 6.5 seconds behind old Peterson now. He's had his fun, he's had 16 minutes of racing action, and on the final lap has to concede that position to old Peterson. Ah, man. One lap there between these two. Track limits, not sure what happened there. This is Josh from Open Lobby Racing. Schlichting over on the Twitch side of things is saying no fuel. So fuel saving. That's what Sean Belder is doing just to come across the line. He's trying to save fuel, and as a result, he's not able to put as much pace into that car, as drive as fast as Peterson anymore. Peterson has managed to maintain his fuel better, and as a result can still keep going. Yeah, look at that gap, 13 seconds. Oh, almost taken out by the other 83. That would have been that would have been like the icing on top of the cake. We had Nilsson crash out a couple of times, we had Schlichting crash out, then we had Belder lose fuel, and then we have Peterson taken out by a back marker. Well, that is not the case. Peterson is the man to come out on top today. Round 5 is in the bag for him, and it is old Peterson's 3rd podium of the season, 2nd race win. Good stuff from the Alpine. It is a different car from this time round, different race, and it is the same race win. Plenty of action, and Peterson is the one constant that has happened throughout this race. A well-deserved P1 from Sean Belder in P2. Comes across the line at 12 seconds ahead of Nilsson. P2 for Sean Belder just about makes it across the line, and Nilsson in P3 for the hypercars. Good effort from this driver. He has done so well tonight. It's his debut race with us, and he has done an absolutely brilliant job at taking that final podium position. It could have been the race win here, but we'll leave that for next time. In the meantime, Wei Long Lin, also in the LMG T3s, takes the race win. Good stuff from him tonight, making the most of the opportunity that we saw at the start. Francesco taking P2. Good stuff from him. And actually, Nico Dudek dropped down to P5. Something happened to that Ferrari as well. All sorts of controversy here at Sao Paulo, at Interlagos, a circuit that is usually quite unpredictable. And yeah, the unpredictable has happened tonight. Nico Dudek still to come across the line to finish the race. De Kock as well, just about makes it there ahead of Dudek, or just behind, I should. Oh no, just ahead. Yeah, Dudek, P6. Yikes! Wow. So things happened tonight. My brain is struggling to process what has just happened. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Absolutely amazing racing, but yeah, at the same time, really kind of, I don't know, yeah, just mind boggled right now. It's really odd kind of state of being. Here we go then. Our final kind of finishing order. Kenneth Dahl Peterson takes the race win. Sean Belder P2 and Lo Nilsson in P3. His debut race, a podium finish. Good stuff. Sean Belder still no luck on that race win. It will have to be round 6. It'll be his final attempt this season to get that race win. I'm sure he'll get it. Well, I was sure of it tonight, and it didn't happen. So, you know, if Schlichting has anything to say about it, then well, we might see some massive stuff happen next week at Spa. Who knows? It is Spa after all, so we've got plenty of opportunity for action there. Romacho MG P4 from Wei Long Lin takes his first race win of the season. It's not his first podium, but it is his first race win. It is a milestone for the number 70 McLaren. Ertem Kasyanov, P6 for the number 708. And then Francesco Rancesco and Emre Ozduru, the other podium finishers. Again, also, you know, first time for them, I reckon. Let's see, is it first time? Who is it? So Francesco Rancesco and Ozduru. It's definitely the first podium for Ozduru. Rancesco, yeah, you know, he's been struggling slightly this season. Francesco, yeah, it's his first podium of the season as well. Congrats to those lads. Congrats to everyone who finished tonight, and congrats especially to our podium finishers and race winners. You guys have definitely deserved it. Harold De Kock, David Zaniewski, also rounding out your top 5 for the LMG T3s, and then your final couple drivers, Nico Dudek in P11, Babesh B, P12. Schlichting, unfortunately, in the final 20 minutes of racing, crashing out. Really, really unfortunate for the number 51. But I guess he'll have to come back next week to contest his championship lead, because Belder will be right there waiting for him. Baveshby rounds out your final LMGT3 driver, apart from William van Nagen, who unfortunately also had to leave the session. And that concludes our race here at Sao Paulo Interlagos tonight. Very, very high intensity. If this were a workout, it would be a HIIT workout. Very, very much high intensity. Absolutely amazing racing tonight. I'm definitely going to be going back and watching that, and I hope that Craig Hewlett does get a couple of clips in, because I think it has been worthy of a fair few clips tonight. Other comments, Formika saying GG, open lobby racing, great racing lads, been an entertaining watch. Absolutely. Join us next week for some more. Oh no, actually, again, sorry, announcement for those of you who might have come late. Next week, unfortunately, I'm not covering the ACC stuff. I'm actually participating in a Tough Mudder. Or actually, no, it's not even the Friday evening, is it? It's on the Saturday, or the day before. I'm doing a 10k run on Brands Hatch as part of a race, which is going to be sick, I reckon. So I get to run on one of the tracks that we race on, boys. I think that's pretty cool. And then Tough Mudder the day after. So yeah, unfortunately unable to cover the action next week, but next round for LMU is going to be absolutely amazing. I will be back for that. The championship season finale will be at Spa next week, and I think that hypercar battle is going to be bigger than ever, and the GT3s potentially also on the line. We'll have to wait and see how that all turns out next week. So join us next week, next round. Again, sorry, it was the 10ths and the seconds. Now it's next week, next round. That's also a fairly consistent mistake of mine. But anyways, join us next round at Spa here on YouTube and Twitch. It's been Yanis Mayer, it's been HSR Motorsport, it's been Lamar Ultimate, and we shall see you at the start line next race. Have a good evening. I'll see you all later.